everybody. So glad that you're here with us. And I'm excited to introduce my guest today, Julian Simoes, who is an actor, and Cristina Duchesne-Rivera. And she is also an actor and singer. Yes, thank you
Mhm.
both for being with me today. And these two, Christina and Julian, are leads in the film Ordinary Things. Now, if you have not seen it yet, I encourage you to do so because it's just a wonderful film, so entertaining but also so many themes that it could touch your heart at one point and then you're laughing the next, but I loved it and I encourage you to watch it as well. And if you will, first of all, Christina, we'll let you go first. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be in Ordinary Things.
Yeah, I'm Christina. I'm an actor and singer in the Raleigh area. I've been acting, performing for forever, ever since I was like 7 or 8 years old. I started doing theater mainly, and then when I was in my 20s, that's when I started doing more film and acting in front of the camera. And so after I graduated from college, I ended up getting an agent and auditioning in the area. And then my agent was the one that submitted me for Ordinary Things. So I got an audition through my agency. And that's how I became a part of it. And I just went through the audition process and got to know everyone. And now we're here.
Yes, that is awesome. That's wonderful. And now, Julian, how about you?
Yeah, let me see. I started acting back in high school, and I am very much all things artistic when it comes to, music, acting, art, and all things nerdy and geeky and all that kind of thing. But I started acting in high school, and I only recently started pursuing it like fully professionally. Before that, it was, kind of like a part-time kind of thing I would do here and there, and I
Right.
wanted to make it my career, and I helped teach at performing arts studio here in the area, in the Raleigh area.
Wonderful.
And yeah, so then I actually got to know the Living Word people. My story goes a little further back with them because I actually attended the church that they're based out of for many years, ever since I first moved here to North
Mm,
Carolina, and I was pretty much there for the beginning of the studio.
yeah.
And back when they were first, doing their first projects, I was always helping out in some aspect here and there. And I believe to this day, I've been in every single one of their projects to some extent, whether it was helping on the crew or as a background actor, or in this
Yeah.
case, a lead. So my relationship with them goes back a little ways. And and yeah. So that's pretty much how I got to know them. They got in contact with me for this. They're like, hey, we have this script. We were looking at some people that we could
Uh-huh.
potentially cast. They wanted to see. We want to see if you want to read for it. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's the rest is history.
And that's amazing. That's great. And you both do so well in this film. Now, Living Word Studios, they've done some other productions as well. Everything I've seen is done very well. And Ordinary Things, Imposter Pastor, uh, that Michael Patterson and Sharon Lanier
Yes,
are
they're
awesome
fantastic.
too. Oh, and Amazing Gracie, I've seen as well. So they really do a great job. And I'm sure they're working on some other projects too.
Yeah, as far as I know, I think actually this. I think it's this month that they're releasing their latest project.
Wow.
So they keep cranking them out. They're really good.
Good. That's great. We need them. We need them.
hmm hmm
Now, Christina, if you will, tell us give us an overall uh, about the film Ordinary Things.
Yeah, so the story basically is you're following Danny, who I play, and she's a 24 turning 25-year-old in the movie. And at the beginning, you see her dealing with the fact that her mom has cancer, and she is not going to make it. And her mom's dying wish basically is for her daughter to be taken care of, and she would love for Danny and Tyler to end up together because Tyler and Danny have been childhood best friends for forever. So then Danny, she ends up coming up with this plan to marry Tyler, but it's not. But it's
In
not.
quotes.
Yeah, it's not real because even
So
though they're
fun.
best friends and they get along super well, she does not really want to marry him at this point, and but she wants to fulfill her mom's dying wish. So they end up making this plan, and they have a wedding at the hospital. And so they're like, okay, we'll have the wedding for her. And then once she passes, she'll pass in peace. And then a miracle happens where she is cured from cancer. And so then that comes the issue of having to act like they're still married, and her mom comes to live with them, and it's a bunch of stuff that happens in between. And just Tyler basically is like, you have to tell her, and Danny's like, no, I'm gonna wait till like the birthday party because Danny and her mom share the same birthday. And this is like a big party they've been planning for ages, and the fact she's actually gonna have the birthday party with her is a big deal. So then after that, it's just a whole mess.
It is. And how all of this unravels,
Yeah.
Oh,
And basically, you're just watching Danny learn a lot of things about herself and what she wants out of life, because she very much is a perfectionist. She's super indecisive. She doesn't really know what she wants out of this life, and she constantly believes there's something out there. There's something better out there than what she already has. And then throughout the film, she ends up learning that there's beauty in the ordinary things, and to basically be grateful for what she has and who she has in her life. And she learns a bunch of life lessons throughout the film. But I don't want to spoil the ending. But
That's right. We don't want to spoil anything. But I do have a trailer for Ordinary Things, and I would like to play that now. Here we go.
A cup of chicken stock. What are you doing?
Pouring out the chicken stock.
You can't just pour it in. It says 1 cup.
I'm eyeballing it.
Monster.
I now pronounce you husband and wife.
We just got married, remember?
I was there. It was fake, remember?
Sure does make this fake wedding to please your dying mom seem a little real.
It was her dying wish to see her baby girl settle down and happy.
Elena, we've prayed for peace, but we haven't prayed for a miracle. So now, God, we thank you for giving her a healing.
My mom is cancer-free. It's a miracle. Are you coming home? She's coming home tomorrow.
She's coming home tomorrow to this house where she thinks that you and I are married.
You're gonna have to move in.
Okay, slow down.
I guess you could just sleep on the floor.
I'm not sleeping on a floor.
We're gonna have to tell your parents.
Okay, we need an exit strategy.
I turn 25 and she turns 50 on the same day. We've been talking about it since I was a kid. Just help me get through the party and then I'll come clean. I promise.
I've given it some thought.
Okay.
I'll do it.
I mean, he's loved you desperately since you were kids. It wasn't that much of a stretch.
We're just friends.
I don't know why. He's super sweet. You like him. He likes you.
I mean, he's amazing, don't get me wrong, but there's just no fireworks like what Mom and Dad had.
You're gonna break his heart.
What if we come clean about the marriage? But also that we really, found something.
Have we? Maybe we just got caught up playing house. Maybe I'm just faking it.
That kiss didn't feel fake.
Because I'm a good kisser.
God has a way of taking these bad things and working them out for good.
If she finds out the truth, it'll kill her. The cancer didn't take her out, but this definitely will.
But the simple things in life, that's where you find the best things in life. To be faithful to the ordinary things, because God can use them to do amazing things.
Oh, you'll get over that honeymoon shyness before long. By the time your dad and I got back from our honeymoon, we were peeing with the door open.
That's disgusting.
And with that mental image,
Oh my goodness. Just watching the trailer, it just brings back all those the scenes I saw. It's just hilarious. And like I said, you both play off each other so well, and really did such a great job.
Thank you so
But
much.
let's talk a little bit about the themes. There are several themes in the film, and perfectionism is one of them. And so, can either of you relate to your characters to these these things? Okay,
Yeah,
Christine, I saw
absolutely.
your hand first. Go ahead. Go ahead. Are you a perfectionist?
Yes.
Ah,
Unfortunately, yes. That's something I've definitely dealt with for as long as I can remember. And honestly, like when I was younger, it was worse. And like over time, the more I learn about myself, about life, about the way things are, I am grappling and dealing with that and learning to let it go, because I don't have control over the way everything pans out, the way things happen. And sometimes you just have to let that go. And also, as an actor, it's like being a perfectionist and an actor do not go well together at all. So my journey being an actor, I've had to let a lot of that go, which has been very difficult because there's moments where I just like will look at even like the trailer and I'll be like, oh, I could have done that or I could have done that. And it's like, like those
I
little like
understand.
moments will just come across my brain, and I have to tell myself like, no,
Yeah.
what you did was great. Like it served the story. So just
And the
letting those
director's happy with it.
no, I mean I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy with it.
Oh,
There's
yes.
just like these little things. It's like, oh, I could have done that, or this was weird
Yes.
that I did that there, or and it comes with not just this movie, but a lot of other projects that I've done. It's something that you really have to learn to let go, because as long as you're telling the story, serving the story, doing what you need to do for the project, then that's the most important thing.
Right.
It's just not. It's also not healthy to be nitpicking yourself all the time.
Right.
That can be very detrimental for you mentally, especially as an actor and then also as a person in your daily life. So,
Mhm.
Exactly. Well, Christina, I'll tell you this. I used to be a perfectionist. Well, I guess I still am. The older, though, uh, that I get, the less perfectionism, because I'm learning, still learning to let go, as you say, and to let God. Learning to talk to Him more about it, telling Him about the things that are bothering me, or that I'm trying to be so perfect at. And I know what you're talking about when you say, well, I should have looked that way, or I should have said it this way, or done that. Been there, done that. So I understand where you're coming from. But just to encourage you, the older you get, the more you learn. It's
yeah,
not
that's
that way.
that's what I like to hear.
Julian, what about you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think everybody has a certain level of perfectionism that they are working through and that they struggle with, and
Yeah.
I know from experience working with a bunch of other creative types it's rampant,
Mhm.
in a lot of people in our community, in our circles, and it's a very normal thing. But obviously when left unattended, it can consume, and that's where it becomes a problem. And kind of like, I know that Christina, kind of, you alluded to this a little bit, but especially when it comes to acting, right? I mean, if you're so focused on, at least in the moment, you're like, oh well, I need to do this, I need to do this, it's got to be
Yeah.
perfect, and you're taking yourself out of the moment. You're making it about you, right? Where,
Yes.
especially when you're working on these projects and when you're trying to tell, I mean, you're trying to tell a story. It's a collective storytelling effort, and it's a team effort. And the more that you
Sure.
think about that, it ends up, being self-serving, and you want to try to stay away from
Exactly.
that.
It
Um, and and I can speak from, I mean, and it's really interesting. There's so many moments throughout even the filming of this project um that my own perfectionism was brought to light and showcased. I mean, there's plenty of times, in one specific moment I remember, while filming with Christina, that I was just stuck in my head the entire time, and I was thinking, oh, this is the big moment in this in the movie,
yeah.
it's gonna be perfect, and it wasn't working because of that. So I struggle with it all the time, and I can safely say, I mean, I'm very thankful and very grateful for this project, and this
Yeah.
movie, because through it I was able to work through a lot of this,
Mm-hmm.
um, and little by little, I mean, I'm figuring it out, working through it, getting a lot better at letting things go, letting things God, um, and um, and it's really cool. It's really cool how this has kind of changed, the way that I see things, or at least helped
Mm.
steer in that direction. But
Yeah.
absolutely, ever since I was a kid, I've always been the super perfectionist.
Oh my goodness. And I can understand how acting, actors would be um, wanting their performance to be, perfect, uh,
Mhm.
and everything. But um, now, the how about the emotional scenes too? Because you want to get those as perfect as possible, So I'm
Absolutely.
sure it was difficult. Some of the scenes might have been difficult for you both, since you're both perfectionists. To were were they harder to do, or to work on, than the funny scenes?
Yes and no. I feel like most of the time, at least for me, they were a little bit harder. I know for sure this one instance that I was referring to was a very emotional, like heightened,
Yeah,
tension, um, moment in the film, and
yeah,
that one was particularly difficult for me, because it was one of the scenes. It was one of the scenes that we had read at, the very beginning of the whole process, during like our chemistry reads together.
right.
And I remember that, in the moment there, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is perfect. Like, it flowed perfectly. Like, we gel great together. Like, if we end up getting cast together, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be perfect. It's gonna And I was so hyped up. And then we got to actually filming it, and then I was so in my head about it. I'm like, well, we read that. This is the scene that we read. So
Yeah,
I should know this. This should be perfect by now. And it wasn't working. So it was, and then it's a cycle, right? Because then you start getting in your head about it and you lose control. But I think definitely, the emotional scenes can be a lot harder, than, some of the comedy.
yeah,
While with the comedy, you can kind of just let things flow, and it's, at
yeah,
least in my head, there's less stakes involved, right? Because you just kind
right.
of, you can do it a bunch of different ways, figure
Yes,
out the best takes, you just have fun with it. But I always put so much pressure on myself
yeah.
for these bigger scenes, that it ends up working
Understand
against me.
that
So
too.
it's one thing I got to look out for.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And here's where talking to God will help you too,
Mhm.
because He can certainly give you the confidence that you need. I mean, if it's something that He has opened up for you to do, I'm sure that He will get you through. So, and give you the
Absolutely.
confidence that you need. Now, let me ask, what have you learned from playing your characters, Danny, Christina?
Oh my goodness. I feel like I've learned so much, just from playing Danny and being a part of this film, not only as an actor, but as a human being.
Mm,
I feel like I took a lot of this role with me into my everyday life after we were done filming, and just the thing that always comes to mind is finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. That's something that I took with me after that, and really loving and being grateful for the life that I already have, because before this film, I was very similar to Danny in the way that I was always looking for something bigger and better, which I don't think it's bad to like dream or have big aspirations at all. But I feel like sometimes you can get caught up in that and not be in the moment and where you are at that time, the people who you're with at the time, not really looking at them and the things around you and being like, oh, this is like, I think about what I like to do is like, I'll think about like 10-year-old me, and I'll be like, 10-year-old me wanted everything I have now. So I need to like do this for 10-year-old me, like love what I have now for my younger self, because me in like 10, 20 years, I'm going to look back at my 27-year-old self and be like, oh, like that's what I wanted and now I have it, and like it's great. Like it's just really being grateful for the ordinary things, and the things in your life has been something I've taken with me. So
Absolutely. Good, good. Okay, Julian, what about you? What have you learned?
So many things. I think gratitude, like basic gratitude for what I have, and stopping and smelling the roses is definitely one that comes to mind. But I think probably the one that I think about pretty often, that I feel like is motivating me a lot in this phase of my life, is the idea of letting go, and that
Yeah,
if you want something and you want to make a change, right, you got to get moving. And the analogy of the parked car always comes to my head in the film. If you can't turn around a car that isn't moving, right?
right.
So if you make a mistake, if you make a wrong turn, right, it's not the end of the world. You don't crash your car.
Yeah.
You just make an adjustment, take the next exit. You just sets you back maybe 10
Hmm.
minutes or so, right? But you're always going to end up going where you need to go. But you need to be moving first.
That's right.
Um, and that is definitely probably what is motivating me the most nowadays. And what I always keep in mind is that no matter what I do, what decisions I make, even if it is a mistake, right, I'll
Hmm.
learn from it and we move on
That's
and we just
right.
adjust a little bit, and my course is always still set, right? It's not
Yeah,
the end. And I'm in good hands, and
because we're all going
it's
to make
nice.
mistakes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's
Good.
like I know that no matter what happens, I'm in good hands, and I'm always going to get to where I need to get, one
Right.
way or another. So there's no use in stressing out about it and beating myself up about it and being such a perfectionist about it.
Yeah. Oh my
yeah.
goodness. That's right. That's right. Now, Ordinary Things can be seen on Amazon Prime, on Tubi. That's where I saw it. And recently just released on YouTube. So you've got three places that you can go and watch this extraordinary, Ordinary Things movie. So, but yeah, I encourage you to do it. I loved it. I loved it. And before we leave, Christina and Julian, if you could tell me a little bit maybe about what's coming up for you this year. You working on anything at this point?
At this point now, I'm hoping that this year we'll work on some projects. I definitely want to, because right now the industry's been kind of like
Been
there
a
has
little
been
iffy. Yeah.
a lot going on. So my goal is to start creating my own projects, and not just wait around to be cast all the time, which
Yeah.
so that's like a goal of mine this year, is to hopefully I'll be doing a short film, and we'll be creating one. So we haven't started writing it yet, but it's definitely something in the back of the mind, and we have some ideas. So I'm hoping by the end of the year we start filming. So that's what I know I'm working on myself. But we'll see if any auditions come around this year.
Here's hoping. Same boats.
Oh, really, Julian? Julian, you
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, no, yeah, like you said, the industry's been a little bit lately,
Yeah.
but hoping for some good auditions coming up. At the moment, I don't have anything written in stone in the books. There's some opportunities that have been floating up around here and there,
Good. Yes.
but I'm taking this opportunity, almost this little bit of a quiet time in the industry, to kind of also focus on some other things. This in about a month, I'm going to be moving away out of North Carolina. So it's big, yes, big plans, big move, big changes. So it's gonna be really cool. And I also work in the restaurant industry by day, so I really want to pour into that a little bit more and learn more about. I'm really into like bartending and mixology, all that. So, studying another kind of venture as well. So, kind of spinning a few different plates, but taking advantage of the quiet time now to try some new things as well, and to move and get settled in. So it's all really exciting stuff, really, really cool. So we'll be on the lookout for some other projects.
Yes. All right. Now, if people want to connect with you, how can they do that?
Instagram. You can follow my Instagram at Cristina Duchesne. And if you want to look up any of my other work or hopefully upcoming work, it would be on IMDb. So you can just search my name, Cristina Duchesne-Rivera.
Okay.
Same thing here. I'm most active on Instagram, so you can reach me there at Jules Simoes, Julz Simoes, and also IMDb if you want to see anything else.
Yes. All right. That's great. Well, I know that God has great things for you both because you're both great actors, and whatever you do, you're going to be successful. Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you both for joining me. Wow, it's just been a great pleasure to have you both.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Janet. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Thank you all for joining today. And let's move forward with faith. Have a wonderful day. God bless.